kick off with Scott Bailey.
Okay, George. Just first up, talk us through the process as far as picking this one goes. Was it more white ball based, given you've got a T20 World Cup ahead, and also just in terms of selectors, it's just yourself and Tony at the moment with no full-time coach?
No, it wasn't white ball focused. It's a huge 12 months in terms of Test cricket as well. So it was about really trying to get a balance across the group. Making sure that it was almost like trying to pick a squad in many respects, trying to make sure we had a really good balance across bat, ball, wicket keepers. And then obviously the three formats, just where the cycle is at the moment. As you said, there is a T20 World Cup coming up. There's only about 20 games until the one-day World Cup, which isn't a great deal in terms of when you're trying to start to build a team and a framework of how you're going to play together. And then, as I said, another big summer of 5 Test matches at home, and then an away series in India as well.
Is Jai Richardson the unluckiest man, do you think? Given, he took a 5 for in his last Test, got rested, and hasn't had a chance since, and then drops off. Would it be fair to say he's the unluckiest one?
Yeah, if the contract list was 10, then the 11th always looks unlucky, and if it's 25, then 26 always looks unlucky. There's always someone who just misses. Absolutely, he could put his you could say he was unfortunate to miss. I think Matthew Wade's another one in the same boat. Kane Richardson to an extent as well. And I say that just because they're all guys that we fully expect will play for Australia in the near future. In all likelihood, they'll all be picked probably in our next touring parties. So they're all not contracted, but certainly not required. All the skill sets are all really important. Wade is still our first choice wicket keeper in our T20 team. And a big build-up coming up to that World Cup. Jai, we like his skill set across all 3 formats, and just looking forward to his availability increasing and continuing to build his resilience and ability to play a lot more cricket over the next 12 months. And a little bit the same with Kane, with that T20 World Cup coming up as well.
Andrew Ramsey.
Oh, thanks, Cole. Morning, George. You mentioned Wadey just then. Can you sort of shed some light then on the Josh English thinking, and how, if he's not the first choice T20 keeper and probably isn't in the first choice Test and ODI at this point, where the thinking was there?
No, I think Josh has obviously done really well in the opportunities that he's had. He's clearly our a keeper in waiting, I guess, behind Alex in the Test and one-day formats. And he's the keeper in waiting behind Wadey in the T20 formats. He's going to be a huge part of every tour that we go on. We're investing as much in the future with him as we are, I guess, looking at what's happened in the past 12 months as well.
Sorry, folks. Alex Malcolm.
Hi, George. Just wondering how you're going to manage the guys that are at the IPL heading into the white ball portion of the Sri Lanka series. What are sort of the early plans there? Are you going to have to rest guys from that?
Not necessarily. I think it'll just, much like the IPL dealings, it'll just be a case-by-case basis, depending how. The one thing we don't know is how much each player is going to play over there, how far each franchise is going to get in the tournament. So I think the round games finish around the 19th, 20th, 21st of May, and then Sri Lanka doesn't start until early June. So if players don't get that far in the tournament, there's every opportunity for them to maybe get a little bit of a freshen up physically and a small break at home. Fingers crossed, the Sri Lanka tour will be the start of getting back to a little bit of flexibility in terms of getting guys in individually, as opposed to having to fly in charters and do quarantines and things like that. I don't know if that's the case, but certainly hoping that's where we're heading, getting back to that sort of opportunity. So we'll just work through that. But yeah, it's a big. Certainly the guys that play all formats, as we've seen, it's a big tour. So the guys that are in the mix to play the 3 T20s, the 5 ODIs, and the 2 tests, we'll just have to make sure that we're prioritising, and the tests will be the priority for that series. Just making sure we get that right.
And you touched on a little earlier the ODIs heading into the World Cup and a limited number of games. What did you learn out of the exercise in Pakistan? You obviously had testing your bench strength, but also testing sort of your structures in terms of what kind of setup you'd like to play on the subcontinent. Can you give any insights in what you learned out of that series?
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably get caught out using similar language, but it's not. I don't like the word bench strength. It's just depth, and it's what's required given how much cricket is played internationally. If you don't have it, then you're going to get caught short. So I thought it was an excellent tour. I thought the whole tour was excellent. Specifically looking at the ODI component, I thought that was excellent. Anytime you're getting new information, it's fantastic. So there was a raft. And off the top of my head, I'll forget something, but there was a raft of great things. So seeing Travis Head and Benny McDermott grab their opportunities was fantastic. Nice to see the way they went about it. Sean Abbott, brilliant. And Green continues to get better and better. Even the way I thought Marnus and Marcus Stoinis sort of worked together, and seeing how they together in the middle was good as well. Heaps to like. Nathan Ellis, all those guys that you're starting to get opportunities into, a little bit more white ball cricket into Mitch Swepson, which is great for him to be able to play alongside Zamps and see what that looks like as well. So great opportunity, and really just one innings that fell short a little bit with the bat, but some really good cricket played.
Thanks, George.
May have spoken a little bit earlier about our internet connection, but we'll go to Ethan. You there, Ethan? In the absence of Ethan, we'll go to Andrew Ramsey.
Oh, thanks, Cole. You mentioned Mitch Swepson, George, just in his white ball stuff. I was wondering how you reflected on his test efforts. Obviously, those pitches were made from slow-setting concrete, but are you expecting him to play a bigger role in Gaul, where pitches are more traditionally subcontinental spinning pitches, or how did you assess his efforts in those 2 tests?
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, you're right. I think we've probably got a little bit more information about what we'll get at Gaul. There's been a bit more cricket there, certainly Test cricket. So there's a bit more to sort of look back and reflect on. Yeah, just great challenge for Sweat to see what that step up was like, and to have the opportunity to pump a huge amount of overs, and get that challenge of what it's like to try and work top order batsman out. I think in that second test he created a couple of chances, and that could have been the chances that turned the game a little earlier for the team. Knowing Swep and chatting to him post it, he sets pretty high standards for himself, and I think given the impact he's had with Queensland over the last couple of years, when he gets an opportunity to bowl that much, he expects to impact the result. So I know there was times he was a little frustrated that he wasn't able to impact on the scoreboard from a wickets perspective, but his ability to keep challenging and learn about what it's like coming around the wicket, over the wicket, different fields to be able to set, how to try and break through those against those world-class batters was fantastic. But you'll only get better and better. There's no other opportunity that you can provide that can fast track that learning than what he's just had.
We'll try to go back to Ethan. Are you there this time, Ethan?
Apologies for that. Can you hear me now? Oh, sweet. Are there any younger players like Tanveer Sangha that you and the selectors have an eye on?
Yeah, heaps. And Tanveer is certainly one of them.
And Tim David has been in the form of his life and is getting a big reputation in 2020 cricket around the world. Is he someone you have on the radar coming into the World Cup?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the skill set that he provides, and where where in particular he's forging a bit of a reputation. That middle order, I know, gets spoken about a lot around the world. It's a high pressure, high risk, high reward spot to bat, and when you are there, you're expected to either finish an innings off batting first or ice the game and win it batting second. So yeah, we've really enjoyed watching Tim's development. Hopefully he continues to get, I know he missed the last game, but hopefully he continues to get a good opportunity in the IPL, and those skills continue to get exposed and he continues to grow.
Thanks for your time.
Looks like we've got one more here, guys. Back to Scotty Bailey.
Yeah, George, just one on Finchy, mate. Were you relieved, I guess, to see him score those runs in that T20 over there, and what do you make of his form generally going into, as you say, a pretty big 6 months of a World Cup and then preparation into next year's ODI World Cup?
No, not relieved. Always know it's coming with Finchy. I think he said it himself. He would have liked to have contributed more. I mean, that's part and parcel. He'd like to be scoring more runs, but again, we have so much cricket in the lead up from now until that T20 World Cup, in the build up to the One Day Cup, that he's got a great opportunity and probably now a little bit of time to be able to focus. I know he's talked a little bit about a couple of technical things that he wants to work on, which is great. But the leadership that he provides, the way that T20 team, the white ball team has been building, or the one day team has been building, starting to get some good buy-in, I think, into the way that we want to play. Probably off the back of the way that the squad played and in that T20 World Cup as well. That confident that Finchy will come good and be firing in the lead up to and including the World Cup.
Sweet, thanks, mate.
Thanks, Scotty, and thanks to George Bailey for joining us all today. Usman Khawaja will be joining us at 11 o'clock this morning, so we'll catch most of you all again then. Thanks, George, and thanks, guys, and we'll catch up with you in a little while. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, George. Thanks, Carl.